All right, welcome to session number 6 of your Fat Loss Kickstarter, the penultimate and final session of the 21 days. All right, so this week number 3, hopefully you're off to an absolute flyer. Hopefully you've used week 1 and week 2 and all the coach sessions beforehand to put things into place, to look at where you can improve your habits, where you can improve protein intake, where you can improve more fruits and veg, how you can get more steps up, which days you need to focus on your sleep, all right? And of course, most importantly, how many days out of the 7 over the week are you staying in a calorie deficit for, yeah? So higher the habit score, more chance of your success to, 1, to lose weight, 2, wake up, feel good, feel energized for classes, and just live that high performance lifestyle that you want and that you 100% deserve. So in this session, we're going to cover 2 topics, essentially, where to now, so how to kind of move on sort of forward, what are your options, and then also to open up a bit of time for some Q&A. So thank you very much for Kelly, Bianca, and Nikki for firing through a couple of questions. If any other questions come to anybody else after the session, or if you've just picked up that email I sent yesterday after the session has been recorded, then by all means, please just reply to that email, let me know, and I will answer questions 100%, okay? Cool, so that is it. I'm not gonna spend too much time chatting away, just dive straight into it and let you get on with things. All right, so here we go. Helps if I click that first. Cool, so accountability check-in as always. What's your habit score and are you happy with your effort? Yeah, I'm not your teacher or your headmaster. I'll not be writing you a report card. It's for yourself to write your own report card, okay? By the end of the 21 days, you're gonna have 3 weeks of your habit tracker with all the blocks, all the blocks, 7 by 9, you know, percentage score, 50%, week 1, 6%, week 2, week 3, okay? You're scoring yourself, okay? Because it's your journey, your life, your classes, your confidence, etc., etc. Okay, so are you happy with the effort? If you're not, well, we can all play the violin if you want. No doubt there will be some real genuine reasons out there that might put you off a couple of days, but at the end of the day, it really is up to yourself to kind of make those changes, okay? So if you're not happy with the effort, that's fine. You don't need to beat yourself up. You don't need to, you know, think anything bad of yourself or anything like that. It's a case of, right, okay, cool. What can I do tomorrow? Yeah, what can I do next week? Where, looking at that sheet, looking at the habit tracker, where can I make improvements, okay? And remember what I spoke about, the motive, logical side of it. If there's been emotive triggers that have been setting you off, then you really need to focus on that mindset kind of part of it, okay? And take control of things you cannot control and think about riding those emotional waves so we don't reach out for that, you know, that kind of binge eat, that emotive trigger eat, that, that comfort eating, okay? So what's next? In the words of Paddy McGuinness, the power is in your hands, okay? I can't do an Irish accent. I'm really sorry. I don't know if it's something to do with being from South Africa or something, but I cannot do an Irish accent. So I'm sure we've all seen Leave the Light On or Looky Light On. I forget what that program's called. Leave a Light On or something, isn't it? Dating program. So Paddy McGuinness, yep, the power's in your hands, 100%, okay? I can only sort of offer you and guide you and give you, you know, the kind of experience, the insight and knowledge from niche coaching within the group exercise kind of fitness space to rep yourself to kind of take things on board, or just, you know, go back to how things were. If you weren't happy with how things were, you would be in the Fat Loss Kickstarter. So, you know, take things on board and run with it 100%. Cool. Your options, 3 things. Rewatch the online sessions and apply the insight. Yep. So you can make your own kind of plan, put things in place. You kind of now know what you need to do. You've got 4 free guides as well and ebooks to download and to use. So if you've downloaded them, brilliant. If you've downloaded them, not looked at them yet, okay, not bad, but have a look at them, use them, okay? Continue on the start that you've made, i.e. stay accountable. You can keep using the food tracker that you got sent in the week 1. Keep using the habit trackers as well, okay? But don't just think of this as a short-term 2 days kind of thing. Oh, that's great. I lost 5 pounds or 6 pounds. Great. Okay, now what? Now you can put it all back on. Okay, that's not any kind of use. So stay on track. And of course, option number 3, reach out for one-to-one coaching in the private space and have me in your kind of corner. All right, I'll do your macros for you, your calories for you. We'll do weekly or fortnightly check-ins. We'll make sure that everything's hunky-dory, and whether your classes go up or down or change time and schedules, whatever else, you'll have always me there via WhatsApp, email, or Instagram to be able to answer your questions and help you out. Okay, so 3 options. So stay the course, right? Don't see this, as I said, see it as a challenge or a gimmick, right? It's your kickstart to continue your fat loss and confidence gains. There's been quite a few comments and feedback coming through about losing 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds. Love it, absolutely love it, brilliant work. There's also been quite a few that has been about, well, weight's not changed much, but sleeping much better energy recovery, not having those kind of crashes come Thursday, kind of Friday. So that is a massive win as well, okay, because we are highly energetic, we've got infectious energy, we're passionate about teaching classes, we want to be giving 100% in our classes day in and day out, okay? So if you're having massive energy and confidence wins that way as well, then it's a win. And if you're losing weight and got more energy, then it's a win-win, all right? Total win-win. The success lies in your application, okay? It is literally giving you the screw and the screwdriver, and what you've got to do is actually put the screwdriver into the screw, turn it over and apply it, okay? Everything that you need for improving your nutrition is in these 21 days. Within the 6 coaching sessions, within the 4 free ebooks and downloads, all right? Everything you have there is pretty much what we do, okay? A couple of strategies for high-low days, making sure you're on top of the wagon again, insight into fat rebound, okay? Insight into the small gains about how I work with private clients and how I create a calorie deficit as opposed to restriction, okay? So everything you need is in these 6 sessions, okay? It's just totally up to you whether you want to apply them or can apply them. Generally, you may have found from previous experience, from previous Kickstarters, if you are of the irk where you've, right, I've got this, right? I've got the information, cool. Now I'm going to go make it for myself, stay disciplined, stay motivated, etc., and accountable. Brilliant, right? You can run with it 100%. Or you may find that you fall into the category where you're going, I know, I've got it, but I need somebody to check up on me. Yeah, I need somebody to do the work for me because I don't have the time, and I'm unsure about the macros and the calories and what my high-low days and what is reverse dieting you mentioned as well, all these things. Then perhaps that's when you can reach out for the private coaching stuff. Okay, so see how you get on, but everything is there. Everything is there. So as I said, stay the course, 100%. Stay the course. Will you be like Ashley? Okay, from our last Kickstarter, lost 6 pounds the first 3 weeks, and then another 9 pounds in the subsequent sort of 2.5 months, giving herself obviously a big, huge, happy smile that you can't see in that photo because that's her back and bum, but a huge, happy smile on the front of it. Okay, so that is what we're after. That is 100% what we're after. Right, open Q&A. So that's pretty much your options and where to now. Okay, it was quickly going to mention about moving forward. Perhaps if you're going to have more classes, less classes, well, it's generally really as simple as if you're going to go from 10 to 15, you're going to need a little bit more kind of fuel. If you're going to go from 15 out of 10 or 10 out of 5, you're going to need to kind of cut a little bit of kind of fuel. Generally, remember we said we want to set protein first. So you always want to keep protein moderate to high. So between that 1.6 and 2.2 grams goal, okay? For most females, you're always, well, not always, 99.9% looking at being 100 grams of protein a day or more, all right? So it doesn't maybe need to nail it at 120 or 130, but if you're consistently hitting 105 or 110, where you were previously hitting 60s or 70s, you're massively making a big difference, okay? Carbs generally is that available fuel source. That is your body's litmus paper. That is your body's, diesel tank or petrol tank, okay? So if your classes start ramping up, because protein stays relatively the same, fats will stay a percentage of total calories. So it will go up slightly, but it's only 20 or 25% of your overall calories, okay? The majority of that change should really come from your carbs. Okay, now that doesn't mean that we need to go down the keto route. It doesn't mean that we need to restrict carbs by any means or anything like that. It just means that we need to, set it at either a moderate level, moderate high level, or a high level. All right. And again, we use those kind of guidelines that are set out in session 2, I believe. All right. Anywhere between sort of 3 and 5 grams per kilogram body weight. Sometimes you can go a bit higher and 5 into 6. All right, on the very rare occasion, you might drop down to sort of 2.5 or something like that, 2.5 to kind of 3, okay? But more often than not, instructors respond really well, because you're protecting your muscle tissue so much better, because that carbs and those carbs in your muscles act as that muscle breakdown preventative barrier. Okay, because when your body starts looking for energy and glucose and ATP, you've got tons of carbs there. Okay, not tons, you've got lots of carbs there to use. Your body's like, here you go. You want energy? Here's carbs. Fantastic. It doesn't need to go to muscle cells to break down muscle for ATP. Okay, it's a bad process. When you're doing that, you're in a bad way. Okay, and you try to use fats, but if you're training and teaching in the high intensity zones, that fat transport system to get ATP to muscle cells is too slow. Yeah, remember, I forget the analogy that I used then, but was it the I don't know, like I don't know what it was, something fast and something slow. Yeah, I was I don't know what it was. I used too many analogies perhaps, but something really fast and really slow. Fats get a lot more ATP there, but it's much slower. It's not ideal when you're training 75% or above of your maximum heart rate. Okay, cool. Nutrition questions. So I've got a couple of questions here that I'm going to try to run through nice quickly. So thank you very much, as I mentioned, Kelly, Bianca, and Nikki, for sending these through. There's one kind of question that Bianca and Nikki both asked that kind of overlap a little bit. So I'll get to that right at the end. The first one I've got down here is from Kelly. So, is there any evidence to support females changing their nutrition requirements at different stages of the menstrual cycle in terms of energy levels? This can be where I feel more sluggish and I'm more likely to make poor food choices. Is there anything you suggest to tweaking to counteract this? Okay, so when I read this first, I thought it was all about menopause, but the two are obviously very, very interclosely linked, and I'm trying to remember everything that I'd said in the menopause workshop that I recorded, that is on YouTube, by the way, and it's I think about a 60-minute session. So all the in and out details is on there. But in terms of supporting the nutrition requirements, different stages of the menstrual cycle, I don't think there's anything valid in changing it. I think it's a case of being cognizant of the fact that you are, one, going to be feeling more lethargic and not having as much sort of energy because the change in kind of hormones. Trying to remember the kind of days now. Trying to remember back to biology days around, when luteinizing hormone kind of kick in, and then progesterone shoots up and estrogen drops down, all that kind of stuff, and try to make sure I get it the right way. But at the end of the day, I don't think you need to be thinking about changing nutrition strategies. It's being aware of menstrual cycle. It's being aware as to how your body will be reacting and what your triggers are and the types of foods that you will reach out for. And it's putting little strategies or coping mechanisms along that 28-day cycle to make sure that on the whole scale of things that you stay fairly kind of narrow and true. On the days that you do feel a bit more kind of sluggish, then it's perhaps less food calories, perhaps a bit more liquid calories. You may try, different types of foods. Perhaps skipping a meal or adding in a meal might kind of work, or just cognizing the fact that before you hit that date, the previous few days, you might want to take a bit more calories in, a bit more fuel in, because you know that you're going to be under eating, across those couple of days. So it's just about making sure that balancing over the week, that you have more intake when it's kind of needed and lesser intake if you're all going to be feeling a bit kind of sluggish and not have as much of an appetite. Okay, to tweak it to counteract this, there's not much you can do with the kind of female body hormones through the menstrual cycle. Obviously, you only really look at obviously playing around the kind of hormones and hormone supplementation, obviously going through kind of menopause if it's causing massive symptoms and discomfort and sleep and hot sweats and not, everything else. So, but normally through the menstrual cycle, nothing really to counteract it. It's I think the awareness and putting a couple of plans in place. Think about over the kind of week, think about your kind of coping strategies, foods that you will like, snacks that you'll have in the house that maybe are slightly kind of, let's say, healthier option, but lower calorie option, than anything else. And just be more aware of it, I think, and cognizance of it. But things don't change. The energy laws don't change. It still carries in versus carries out. It's still TDEE. Everything is the exact same. Your body doesn't assimilate or change or require more or less of any macronutrient. And particularly the way that we like to do things, where we don't, demonize or go very, very low on either of the macronutrients. You're never going to be in that kind of place. And as we've kind of alluded to, the majority of the time you want to be sticking to moderate to high value foods. So your dairies, yogurts, fruits, veggies, these are all great vitamins and mineral packed foods with high fiber that is going to support, your hormonal changes and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be a case of that we have poor nutrition diet history, having a lot of takeaways, low nutritional foods, low food density kind of quality. All right, so you're going to be doing everything that you're going to need to be doing for it. I also found that since focusing on the macros, I'm less hungry and snacking less and well within my calorie deficit, which is cool. No complaints about that. But because I'm feeling full, there are some days where I find it more difficult to hit my protein target despite having 3 meals. Any tips? Any tips? So protein, much like Nikki was as well, a little bit about protein. Any tips about more protein? It's probably portion size. Looking at the foods that you like that do have kind of protein, thinking about full fat milk over semi-skim milk, perhaps if you like the taste. Otherwise, liquid calories again is a fairly easy kind of go-to. Having a dedicated protein snack to make it 4 meals a day, so 3 meals of breakfast, lunch, dinner, but there may be opportunity to have a afternoon snack or a late evening snack that is high in protein. It could be just like a 250 gram tub of Greek yogurt or something like that with a few nuts or a dollop of honey or something, low calorie honey or sugar-free honey, whatever it is. Probably just portion size will be the easiest one to get more protein in. A backup of 25-30 grams worth of a protein whey shake in the morning or in the evening, and then a bit of yogurt later evening will be one of my easy kind of go-tos. So Bianca, you've addressed this before, but I can't find it. She says, I'm subbing a night body pump class with teaching in the morning. What do I need to eat beforehand, and do I need to eat before? So very, very strong words. Do I need to? Excuse me. So theoretically, you'll be like, I don't know if you need to. I mean, you might not need to, but would you benefit from it? Would it be a bit more ideal? Would it be more optimal? And it all really depends on what you've eaten previously throughout the day. Because if you've, after teaching in the morning and gone and had, a good 1,800 calories or something like that, and evenly spaced meals of protein and carbs, then if your last meal was at, say, like 6 o'clock, but your protein, your pump was at, say, 8 o'clock at night, then no, you probably don't need anything. It depends what you've done during that day more than anything else. If you've finished a morning class, had a meal, not eaten all day because you've got business, you got kids, you got work, you got anything else, come 7 o'clock and you're about to head out, home to go to the gym to teach at 8 o'clock, do you need something then? Yeah, I would definitely try to get some food on board at that point, and something that's going to not sit in the stomach. So white breads, fruits, lean protein. So again, so like chicken breast, turkey breast, whey protein shaker there again as well. Bananas, fruits, apples, rice puddings. One of my favorite, absolute favorite, fitness professional kind of carb. A little bit of protein, like low protein but moderate to high carb, is rice pudding. It's cheap and it's vegetarian, vegan friendly as well for anybody along those lines. So a ton of rice pudding, is absolutely fantastic. So it all just really depends. It depends, Bianca, what you've done during the kind of day, how much food you've taken on board between those classes. So it all really depends. You can try 1 week, eat how you've eaten normally, sort of thing, and then the next week, try have a bit more protein, a bit more carbs, and try and make sure you have a decent meal around that 2 hour mark beforehand. And if you want to just kind of like lead in with a bit of fruit half an hour beforehand, or a whey shake, something like that, and just see how you feel. Just see how you feel. A bit of tweak and monitoring for that one, though. I don't think it's as a straight definitive answer for that one. She goes on to say, I've read conflicting data on taking protein. Some say take it within an hour of workouts. Some say it doesn't matter as long as you get it that day. What do you think? Right, great question. This one comes up all the time. So the thing within the kind of hour workout, this is where I'm trying to think of the right way to, not the right way to approach it, but the best way to approach the question. So think of hierarchy in terms of importance, okay? So what's most important over the week is total calories, okay? What's next important is that macronutrient split, okay? Then if you look at each single individual day, what's really important obviously will be the kind of calories, but secondly would be the total number of protein that you have, okay? So say per day, say you're aiming for 120 grams of protein. Now that's, so the fact that you get 120 grams of protein in a day, irrelevant of number of meals, irrelevant of timing or anything like that, getting 120 in is the absolute winner, right? That's the most important thing. That the hierarchy is up here. Next up, perhaps, would be the fact of getting 4 times 30 protein meals spread evenly out the day. Yeah, that would be the kind of next, better option, not better option, but that's, that's here, then that's kind of next. Okay, so hopefully that kind of answers that a little bit of a kind of question. In terms of the 1 hour window, right? The 1 hour window normally comes from this bit of a belief that it's this your body's heightened response to kind of put fuel back in and all that kind of stuff. And we do want to be putting protein carbs back into the body sooner rather than later, especially if you've had a very intense, very stressful class, and you're stressed and you've stress the kind of muscle tissue. Okay, you don't be waiting kind of too long before you put it back any kind of protein or kind of carbs. So it's not vitally important. What's vitally important is to get 120 grams of protein in a day, but it is better for sure if it's evenly spread. And the reason why we want it to be evenly spread is because our body cannot store protein, right? It can only store carbs and fats. So if you take a protein meal, say at 8 o'clock in the morning, between 9 and 11 is like maximum amino acids in your bloodstream. Okay, then after 11 to 12, that's when that kind of wanes off. So think about a graph. You take it at 8 o'clock, it goes in for an hour, sharp increase, kind of peaks around the 2 hour mark, and then slowly winds down. And by the time it reaches the 3 to 4 hour mark, it's back to baseline 0. So from between, say, 8 o'clock, 0 amino acids in your bloodstream, 12 o'clock, 0 amino acids in your bloodstream. Okay, so that's why we need to try and have it regularly throughout the kind of day, and going for that blueprint foundation of 3 times 30 meals is an absolute kind of like massive start. Okay, massive start, because it sounds so redundant, it sounds so boring, but that's why. Okay, because 3 times 30 is better than 2 times 50 in terms of that, because we're triggering muscle protein synthesis more often, and that's a small win in terms of fat loss and maintaining lean muscle tissue. Okay, so you can have it an hour after. If you can have like a banana and a whey shake, brilliant. If you feel hungry enough to actually have a meal, then have a meal. Okay, but if you can't, because for whatever reason, or you just don't like it, don't stomach it, the timings are wrong, don't stress. Make sure then you at least get 120 grams or your protein target in after every day. Okay. On a very side note, the reason why muscle glycogen replenishment and having protein and carbs within an hour will probably be very important for a fitness instructor or fitness coach is if you're teaching again within the 8 hour mark. All right, so we're talking about repeated bouts. If you're talking about a fitness instructor who teaches in the morning up to like lunchtime, goes home for 3 hours, and then comes back at 6 o'clock to teach 6, 7, 8 at 8 o'clock again. If you're teaching several times with less than an 8 hour break in between, then muscle glycogen replenishment, that's restocking the fuel into your muscles, okay, topping up the tank, is vitally important. All right, and they did all the kind of tests and kind of research. When they found you only had protein, muscle glycogen replenishment was understandably like this much, okay, very small, like 20%. When you only had carbohydrate, it was about, say, 70%. Okay, so it was much more than protein, but it wasn't quite maximal. When you co-ingested, which is just a fancy word for eating together, right? So when you had a meal that has protein and carbs into it, within an hour, your muscle glycogen replenishment was like maxed out at like 100%. Okay, so just use that kind of reference point, 100, 70, 20. Protein only, carbs only, carbs and protein. All right, so if you are teaching several times throughout the kind of day, you must definitely want to be having a protein and carb meal within about an hour after your last class. And again, that works off a very specific ratio of around about 1 to 2 protein to carbs. So for ease, 30 grams of protein, okay, so like a big massive whey shake, all right, and then 60 grams of carbs. That could be a banana, a white sandwich, it could be that rice pudding again, it could be a baked potato with some baked beans, anything like that, okay? You're looking for something fairly kind of decent afterwards. So around that 1 to 2 ratio is kind of the preference. That's the, if we're talking in people like Nikki who's teaching 18 classes and above, and professional athletes and people that are teaching 15 classes above every week, high intensity stuff, those are those athletic nutrition wins that you can really bring in, that your dieting history or your diets just will not even come close to. Okay, so hopefully that answers your kind of question. I know I've kind of rambled on a little bit, but I want to try and make it really kind of clear. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. Moving on to Nikki, she says, what's the best protein to add to porridge, smoothies, etc.? Is this a good way to try and increase protein intake? So first of all, yeah, it is absolutely a good way to try and increase protein intake, because it's not like an additional meal. You're just kind of adding to it. In terms of types of whey or casein, whey generally is the way forward. No puns intended, right? Whey is the way forward. Very high quality kind of protein, fairly quick digesting as well. You don't need to get bothered and tired up about that kind of casein kind of thing and all this kind of nonsense and whatever else. But whey is absolutely the kind of way to go. I can't stop saying it now. But to porridge, so one of my kind of favorite tricks was just overnight oats. All right, so I've never really added whey to hot porridge. Okay, I've added whey to overnight oats. So I put in, a big plastic Tupperware, some chia seeds, maybe I'll dollop a little bit of peanut butter or something, lots of oats, big couple of scoops of kind of whey protein, lots of milk, stir it all up, put it in the kind of fridge, and have that the next morning. Okay, and the oats obviously kind of soak up all of the milk. So that was one of my kind of favorite go-tos. Smoothies as well. Yep. So whey smoothie. Again, there's probably tons of smoothie recipes out there. My current favorite really is blueberries, bananas, handful of kind of spinach, creatine obviously for myself at the moment because I'm back training, whey protein, and then about 300 mils worth of whole milk. And that's mine. Yep. So, but there will be tons out there, absolutely tons out there. But yeah, very, very easy way of getting good quality foods in, particularly vegetables or fruits that you might not really like to eat like normally. Chuck them into a big smoothie blender and blast it all up and then just knock it back. It'd be absolutely sound. And again, if you're on the go, lots of classes, pack 1 or 2 of them in a wee cooler bag or something like that. Again, easy nutrition on the go. Because if you know you're going to go to a cafe and get, say, a toasted sandwich or scrambled eggs on toast, that's brilliant, that's good. Lump it up now with 400-500 calories of really great, powerful superfoods and proteins and carbs, vitamins, minerals, fiber. You can, you're only going to win with that. Last one from Nikki, or the second one rather from Nikki, is what's the best pre-workout when teaching 18 classes a week? So, best pre-workout. So, pretty much caffeine, really. Caffeine, beta-alanine, creatine to an extent, but generally caffeine. So if you like your coffee, you're on an absolute winner, of course. Double espresso and banana is like the gold standard. That's one that I've used and I've advocated to a lot of people, and they've had really, really good success with it. So a double espresso and a banana 20 to 30 minutes beforehand, really, really good. Absolutely kind of good. You can, if you don't like coffee, you can just get caffeine tablets. Okay, pretty useful, really, really, good. However, a lot of research has shown that there is a few extra ingredients inside the cocoa bean, inside caffeine with coffee or caffeine from coffee, as opposed to just caffeine by itself, that seem to make it just a little bit more responsive, it's a bit more efficient, there's a little bit more of a stimulant, right? Doesn't mean that caffeine tablets don't work. It just means that if you do like coffee, fire into coffee. But if you don't like coffee, just get some caffeine tablets, okay? Generally, it's between 2 to 4 grams, 2 to 4 milligrams per kilogram body weight, okay? So a double espresso generally will kind of do most people, all right? Otherwise, pre-workout, I don't want all the kind of latest kind of brands out there, to be honest, because I've really stepped away from pre-workout back in the day when I used to be all about the pre-workout kind of stuff. Now, literally, it's just strong coffees, bit of fruit, bananas, all that kind of stuff. But beta-alanine used to be really kind of good. Beta-alanine was an acid buffer. So when you're training in those anaerobic kind of zones, lactic acid kind of build up, it just delayed that, it just buffered that acidic response of the muscles, where you could, last a little bit longer for an extra couple of tuck jumps, an extra burpee or two, or whatever it may be, or an extra couple of reps if you're in the gym, all that kind of stuff. So beta-alanine is really, really quite good. You can whack it into your kind of morning shake, not a problem, just like every day sort of thing. You don't need to ramp it up, you don't need to lower or anything like that. Then you have it before a specific kind of time. You can obviously have it with pre-workout, half an hour beforehand. It will give you that kind of tingly face kind of feeling. Some people don't mind it, some people really kind of freak out about it. So if you do going to go down the beta-alanine route, then I would just start the dosages off relatively small, work your way up until you find a comfortable kind of response. The best whole kind of supplement pre-workout, probably the tubs, are going to should have vitamin B's in there, but caffeine. But make sure the dosage of caffeine is adequate, because where companies kind of a bit tricky is they'll say they have all these ingredients, but the dosages are so low they have no effect, okay? Or that you think they have effect, so that the only effect really is a placebo effect, but you're not paying for the thing that you think you're paying for, okay? You're paying, what you want to be paying for is the dosage, because the dosage makes the difference, okay? Think about the D and the D. Dosage makes the difference when it takes to supplements. So a lot of the companies there will just say, oh, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this, it's got that. Wonderful. You look at the dosages, whatever else, oh, I need to take 10 scoops to get an effective dosage, okay? So it's just unrealistic. But caffeine, beta-alanine, some might have creatine more in it. If it does, ladies, do not stress about it at all, okay? Vitamin kind of B's, and perhaps a bit of vitamin D, okay? And that's about it. Those are the kind of main things. Sodium bicarbonate's not really kind of worthwhile, because it's just gastric problems if you get the timings kind of wrong. So those are the two biggest ones in terms of pre-workout. And if you are going to be teaching 18 classes a week, or anybody is 15 classes above week, then really think about that intra-carbohydrate drink, okay? I used to use genetic supplements a lot. And then I think they're back on the scene, genetic supplements around, but lately I've been using bulk powders. A lot of people like my protein as well, but bulk powders for me work a treat. They have a hydration drink. Also got kind of whey protein. They're always offering up kind of offers, 40-50% off, kind of stuff like that. So really reasonable, really good quality stuff. No hassles there at all. So if you're thinking about kind of brands, ton of brands out there, but those are the two ones that personally I've just been kind of using over the years. But yeah, intra-carbohydrate drink, okay? It'll have electrolytes in to replenish those salts that you're going to be sweating through as well. Plus, it's going to have those easily digestible, quick carbs like maltodextrin, dextrose, cyclic dextrin, all these kind of wonderful things, okay, that your body wants and is craving when you're kind of hitting those big classes, those big peaks and big tracks. All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Nikki, and Kelly and Bianca. Anything else, feel free to drop me a message or an email, and I can have a quick kind of chat and get things ironed out for you. So that is it. Let's see what else we got. All right, so just to wrap up, we'll keep the Kickstarter open for another week. So we'll be finished up on kind of Sunday. So we'll be getting your final emails on Sunday. And it'll be really great to obviously have a bit of a check-in, have a recap, what's worked well, what didn't kind of work well. Let us know your changes, whether it's been just an energy, recovery, or if you've lost 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds, whatever it may be. Please let us know. It'll be really great to see. And of course, if you're feeling comfortable and are proud of your success or your change, your body change, etc., then please feel free to fire across the pictures. It'll be really great to kind of see that literally. And an opportunity to obviously join Group X for Private One-to-One Coaching ahead of the wider launch I'm going to have in February. So keep that in mind, of course. And any questions that come to you between now and so Sunday will be the 20th, Thursdays and then 23rd. So until basically the end of the month, 30th of January or so, then feel free to kind of find them across, okay? Want to make sure that you leave fully armored, fully empowered, really clear on what you need, got all your questions kind of answered, and absolutely know and have everything you need to know in order to move forward, losing weight without the drastic diets that are going to kind of shoot your energy levels down and make you feel really kind of shit about yourself, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that at all. And that is it. So, final recap. How's your habit trackers doing? What we improve on for the last couple of days? All right, you still got 4 days to go, so don't stop running for that finish line just yet. And last word: 10 habits that we've done. So 5 sessions we've done previously, 2 habits each. Even if you stick to just 6 of them, okay, this is the thing. Even if you just stick to 5, 6, 7 out of those 10 habits, you're still making a massive change into your kind of lifestyle. All right, small cumulative gains for a confidence transformation that lasts. Okay, so that is it. All right, that is it. So thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, a really great group. So thank you for your questions, for your time. I know it's been really tricky for everybody to kind of get on all at the right time at the same time, and hence why we do all these recorded sessions that I'll put on YouTube for you to catch up at any time. You can stop, you can write, you can take notes, fire across a question. All right, but I am here for you for the next, today's a Thursday, obviously for the rest of this week, the rest of week 3, plus we'll keep things open just for the week, just to allow everybody to catch up with and ask the questions, and etc. Okay, and that is it. So thank you so much. So much. For very last slide. If you enjoy the sessions, obviously, as always, as I did ask, to really help us out and grow the channel, please tag any of the sessions you have in socials and recommend me to your favorite fitness coach. Okay. Do not recommend me to people you don't like. Recommend me to people that you do like. Okay. But yeah, no, thanks very much. It's been wonderful. Hopefully you've enjoyed my slight different take on things. Unique bit of chat, no fluff, no bullshit, etc. So hopefully it's been worthwhile and you've really enjoyed it. And I shall be dropping you an email on Sunday. Okay, cool. Take care, talk soon, and we'll see you on the other side.